Welcome back to the channel. Race day is almost upon us. When this publishes, there should be around about a week to go till we're all toeing the line for the Chester Marathon 2025. So yeah, time to do a quick preview, what you guys should be doing on that last week up to the race day itself, and then a quick course preview from my previous times running around the course. Let's get on with it. So yeah, today's just a final little check-in before race day itself. Obviously I've done a few little tips and hints videos in the build up to the race day. Obviously I'm pacing the MBNA Chester Marathon this year. I'm one of the pacing team. So I've done a couple of little build up videos, hopefully to help you along your way with your training. Hopefully most of your training is now done, whether it's gone well or it hasn't. The training is now behind us. So it's time to kind of finalise those training miles, start to get a taper done if you haven't already started one. Obviously most people taper within a week or two of the race day. So yeah, start to reduce that mileage down now. Time and training is all done. Nothing you do now will really make an impact on race day itself, so there's no point getting extra training runs in terms of big intensive sessions. It's time to taper, rest up, and trust that your training has already been done. Probably wouldn't have felt fresh for most parts of the training. Obviously the marathon training can be quite intensive, quite draining in terms of energy and how fresh your legs feel. So now this last week to go, it's time to freshen them up, get plenty of recovery done. I say get plenty of carbs in your diet, and now in this last week it's time to finally nail down, if you haven't already, again, finalise your nutrition plan, finalise your kit and what you're going to be using on race day itself. Hopefully it's something you've already utilised. Don't be grabbing new stuff now. Test out your kits if you haven't already, and pick and finalise what you're going to wear. In terms of nutrition, obviously make sure you kind of again finalise your plan. Are you taking gels, are you taking chews, are you taking bars, how often you're going to take them, hydration as well. Obviously the course does have gels and water on course, but again look at where they're given out. Does that fit into your nutrition plan? If there's a long gap on the course where no gels or water will be given, and you probably need some, then obviously carry it yourself. So yeah, make sure you finalise that in this last week up to race day. Get rid of all that stress, make sure everything's organised and you know what you're doing, so when race day comes you can literally just follow the plan and enjoy the race day itself, which is the main part of racing for me. You've got to enjoy it. You've done all the hard work, embrace the day itself and enjoy the run come what may. Yeah, basically I'm doing exactly the same as you. I've finalised my race day shoe. Just behind me I'm going to go with the New Balance RC Elite V2. That's what I'm going to be running in for this year's marathon. Obviously the pace I'm running, the 4:15 marathon pace, is nice and easy for me CV wise, so I wanted a nice high stack, comfy, squishy shoe to protect my legs as I hopefully carry a group around with me at the 4:15 pace. But yeah, nutrition wise, again I've chopped and changed. I've tried little kind of glucose tabs. I've often used the high five gels which MBNA Chester Marathon distribute. I will probably take some of them on the day as well, but I've gone down more of a kind of gummy chew route this year. I thought I'd mix it up and change it up. Gels are okay, but I don't know how much I get from them, so I'm going to supplement the gels that I get on course with some gummy kind of chews. That'll be my nutrition change for this year, but again I've had to work on that over the last few weeks in my training. Take them within the long runs, hopefully see if they worked, and they have done, so I think I'm going to go with them for race day itself. Again, you need to work out what's best for you and figure out what nutrition and hydration you're going to take. I find it obviously over the marathon distance, yes, training could be the limitation. If you haven't trained well enough or hard enough, that could be a limitation, especially if you set yourself a lofty goal. However, I think nutrition is the other one. A lot of people don't take in enough. Maybe leave it till too late in the race to start taking on extra carbs, by which point you're already depleted. So yeah, make sure you get that nutrition plan nailed down. And yeah, like I said earlier, this last week up to racing out, it's definitely taper time. If you haven't, most people do a 2-week, 10-day or a week taper, that kind of window. You don't want to make it too long because you will lose quite a lot of fitness. You don't want to make it too short because you want to give your legs time to, like I say, refresh and recover from all the intensive, hard, long training sessions you've been doing. It's about balancing that kind of energy level and that fatigue. Maybe get a few little runs in, have a shakeout, and maybe a couple little shorter marathon pace kind of sessions. That's what I like to do in the build-up. Don't do anything too fast. It can be quite dangerous because your legs will feel suddenly fresh for the first time they have done in months. And it's dangerous to go out and do a quick tempo or even a hard, fast session just to refresh yourself and get a bit of speed going. But again, that could be disadvantageous in terms of you're then going to fatigue your legs again in a new area of training, which you don't need to do in the build up to the race itself. So yeah, just go out for a couple of Marathon kind of tempo runs, that's what I like to do. Again, less than 10Ks if you can. Just again at marathon goal pace here, that feels just to again stay in the rhythm of running at that pace, and maybe a little shake out a couple of days before just to get rid of any nervous, excited energy from your legs, and then literally just rest up, ready for race day. You want to be fresh, raring to go, eager to run at the start of a marathon, because it's a long old distance, and you don't want to be at any point before race day itself not ready and not excited and not refreshed and ready to run. So yeah, that's all the hints and tips done. Get your kit sorted, get your nutrition sorted, and start to taper if you haven't already. Get them legs refreshed, and eat plenty of carbs this week just to refill all those carbohydrate stores, which is what you're going to be tapping into towards the second half of the race, when again, energy, and you've been running for over a few hours, energy levels are going to be a little bit dipped. The more you've got stored, the better you will feel in that second half of this race. Weather-wise, we'll have a quick look ahead. Yeah, obviously, there's something to change. Right now, I'm filming this about 2 weeks, just under 2 weeks before race day itself. So obviously, things may change, but right now it looks like it's going to be a little bit overcast, about 11-12 degrees C, maybe a little bit of a potential chance of drizzle, and about 10-mile-an-hour wind. So other than the drizzle, it's not, and obviously maybe slightly faster wind than you would have wanted, but overall that's not bad conditions at all. Overcast and close to kind of a 10-11 degrees C. Will feel nice and chilly on the race day morning, but once you're moving, will help prevent that overheating. Obviously anything hotter than 15, 16, 17, you start to get quite hot. If not much changes, they won't be a million miles off. Very good conditions for running a marathon in, so that's not bad. But again, come up May, again, there's no point stressing about it. If it becomes a really hot day or a really wet day or a really windy day, all we do is adjust, change our expectations and run to the conditions. But yeah, quick course preview to finish. Well, this will be my third time running around the Chester Marathon route. So I'm just going to give you a quick kind of preview, what I've picked up from my previous few attempts around the course, bits to look out for, kind of tough sections, easy sections, etc. We'll go through that now. So obviously this is for those that have never run Chester before. Maybe you'll get something from this in terms of a bit of a insight into what to expect a little bit on race day itself. So it's a long old course for 26.2 miles, 42.2k. You do go into two different countries. So we start off in Chester in England. We do cross the border over into Wales, and then come back again into England, and then back up through little villages back into Chester. But yeah, so we start off obviously at the Chester racecourse itself. You start on the racecourse, and obviously you make your way up through Chester, through kind of most of the landmarks, the cathedral, Eastgate Clock, over the Old Dee Bridge, past the River Dee, and then out into Hanbridge and straight out towards kind of outskirts of Chester. But that first section is really nice. Obviously loads of crowds in the city centre itself. A couple of ups to get up into Chester from the race course, but again, you're that early in the race and you're that kind of pumped with adrenaline and the excitement of all the race crowd around you. You'll pull yourself up the slopes with no problem whatsoever. So that's a nice section to start with. Like I say, you get all the sights of Chester, all the crowds are out there with the banners and cheering you on. That's always a nice start to the marathon itself. And then yeah, once you cross over that Old Dee Bridge, over into Hanbridge, and then you head out on a nice long straight, slightly downhill Eaton Road down towards Eccleston. And I said you're heading out of Chester there. You probably won't see Chester, well, you definitely won't see Chester again now for a good few hours, no matter how quickly you run it. You're then heading out, say, a bit further out into Pulford, do a little bit of the Bolton Triangle, otherwise known as the Magic Triangle, where a lot of elite races are on. I think they do the Elite 10K there, and it's a kind of a really flat triangle. But yeah, we head into Pulford, do a little turnaround point in Pulford as well. So you kind of go up top of Pulford, and then you do the kind of U-turn, and then go straight down through Pulford. Continue heading out, obviously further and further away from Chester. So yeah, as we then head further out, it gets a little bit quiet in parts. Obviously, you're in quite a rural part of Cheshire now, so there's a couple of quiet parts of just long, straight country roads, just easy for you to get settled into your rhythm. Again, if you're running with a pacer, there's plenty of us on the day. If you're running with one of us, then again, just forget about your pace, stick with us, and just get into a nice rhythm and flow with your cadence, etc., and stick with the group you've decided to run with. But yeah, we then head out towards Farndon, where we kind of do a little loop. So you kind of go out and round and back in Farndon, and then we head across the bottom. Again, we're still in Wales at this point, and we head across to Holt, which is, again, you have a quiet section, and then you get into the village of Holt. I always remember each year that they kind of come out in force in Holt. They all out with clackers and signs, and crowds are kind of big, considering they're in the middle of nowhere. The crowds do tend to come out in these little pockets, these little hamlets and villages. They all come out to support the event, which is great to see and gives you that little boost in each little pocket. I always like that. Along the top of that kind of loop, that is the halfway point. So that's the way you go past the halfway marker, the half marathon marker. And yeah, again, that's in the middle of absolutely nowhere until you do the loop and hit a bit of a fountain village. You're on a very quiet, very lonely country road as you go past the halfway mark, but it is a psychological boost. You get past that point and you know you're on the way home, even if you're still running in the wrong direction at that point. You then do the little loop and come back. And I also like the loops, the kind of loop sections and the double backs, because you do get to see again some of the other runners running the other way. People obviously slightly further behind you, but again still running the marathon, still chugging along, doing the same distance as we are. So it's just nice to see other runners than just the back of people's heads for a small period of the race itself as well. Once we've gone through that bit and past Holt, that little hamlet, things get interesting really quick. So you go through the little village of Holt, I think there is a water on the bend there. As you go through Holt, there's water being given out, generally in cups, I believe, from my previous experience. So yeah, you get that down you, and then at that point, after just going through Holt, you're about 17 mile mark, 27, 28k mark. You go down a really steep downhill, down towards the bridge into Farndon. You go over the little river bridge, and then you've got a you've got a fairly significant, fairly steep and fairly sustained hill up into Farndon itself. On my first marathon at Chester many years ago, that's where I never really recovered after that point. I got that big hill into Farndon and my legs never really got going again. I obviously managed to finish, but obviously in terms of the pace I was running up until that point was a pipe dream. So yeah, that's just something to consider once you get through Holt, up into Farndon, and that's the first hill you're going to hit once your legs are kind of fatigued in the second half of this race. And then we're definitely on the way back to Chester. You've got a nice long straight basically bit. It doesn't feel like it's straight, there's a couple of twists and turns, a couple of ups and downs, but you're basically almost as the crow flies heading straight up, back up towards Chester now. We go past Churton, we go through the village of Aldford. So again, these little pockets, again, we'll have crowds out there, people giving out sweets, signs and stuff to cheer you on, just to try and keep you pushing on to that last little section now. And then yeah, that last section after Aldford, when you do a kind of little round the back, I think it is, you kind of cut into a little country lane, kind of single track lane, and then back out onto the main road again. That last bit is again, can be quite lonely. You're probably fatigued at this point. You're past the 20 mile mark at this point, about 33k. And again, that's another little quiet section up till you get back up to Huntington, when you're really close to Chester then and things start to get a bit louder again. So yeah, that's the final section of kind of quiet country roads, which again is probably the toughest part. The only benefit is obviously just before that in Churton, the little section there where basically you joined with the metric. So the metric marathon runners, which is the ones that are in the 26.2k, about 16 miles I think that is, they come out down the way we're coming back. So at Churton, just before Aldford, is when they join back up with the marathon runners running back towards Chester, and they do a little turnaround and they come back in the same direction as the marathon runners. So again, in this last section, you will see the metric marathon runners coming out the other way, and you will have some obviously running back with you. So yeah, a good bit is you can utilise them. They will be slightly fresher than you are. They haven't run quite as far as you have if you're running the marathon. It's still a very good distance to run the metric marathon, but again, some of them will probably be fresher. They may well be moving slightly quicker than you are, and they might be feeling slightly better. A lot of them will give encouragement. If they notice your number is a marathon number, they will encourage you if you're looking particularly tired and fatigued. And this is the bit where now you've got to grit your teeth. Not long to go, but your brain and your body will all be screaming at you to stop, walk, maybe even give up. And this is the bit where if you just keep moving forward, 1 foot at a time, 1 step at a time, forget maybe pace. If you're really fatigued, forget your pace, just keep making progress, keep moving forward, 1 foot in front of the other. The miles and the Ks will start to drip away. And I said, not long after that, you will hit Huntington. And again, that's kind of just again towards the outskirts of Chester again. Again, they will come out in force. There's normally a brass band on that section of road. Again, lots of people will come out with their families. Kind of populated area again, so loads of families will be out with signs, etc. Again, cheering you on. They know you're close to the end now. And then from this section on, you will get a bit more crowd support all the way to the finish. And yeah, basically from Huntington onwards, this is the bit everyone kind of talks about. Yeah, you're probably at 23, 24 miles in now. 38, 39k, so a couple of miles, couple of k's to go, but it still feels like a long way away when your legs have kind of shut down a little bit, or potentially shut down. Hopefully you're still moving well, hopefully your training's gone well, and hopefully you're feeling okay, especially if you've paced yourself and you've picked an appropriate time to run. You should be feeling okay. You will be tired regardless, because it is a marathon. But yeah, this is what everyone talks about. So from Huntington back into Chester, it's the famous Sandy Lane Hill. So there's a couple of ups and downs. If you were running them on fresh legs, maybe doing a 10k, you wouldn't think much of them. They're not massive hills, but that far in, that 22, 23 miles in, 36, 38k in, the last thing you want to see is any kind of rise or uphill. But there is a couple of ups and downs which you've got to navigate, and the last one in particular, like I say, up Sandy Lane, back up into the top of Chester. Again, is a significant hill, probably 400 metres, and again a decent grade, probably 5 or 6%. So that's the one that kind of does finish you off. A lot of people will take that opportunity to walk. Do so if you need to, but again, I find running up hills, if you just chop your feet into a slightly shorter stride, make sure you're lifting your knees, you're driving your arms. Do not increase your speed, just maintain the effort you're putting in on the flat. So that will naturally mean if you maintain the effort, your speed will slow slightly. But if you can just chop your way up that hill with short, sharp steps, it might not be quick, but it'll get you up quicker than a walk. And then once you're at the peak, at the crest of the hill, you can then go back into your normal stride length and cadence. And then obviously you've got a nice downhill down into Chester, down the main road. Again, there's lots of spectators on the side now. We curl left down towards the river again, and again this is probably one of the best parts of the race now, that you go down towards the river. This is where all the crowds will be, and over the last few years especially, they've kind of made this kind of finishing funnel where again you've just got a long, probably not far off half a mile of like I say, a finishing funnel with barriers either side, and you just follow the river down the down the riverside, down past all the crowds, sometimes 2-3 deep, down towards the finish line. You're literally within a few hundred metres from the finish at that point. If you've got anything left in terms of speed, put it in there, and like I say, finish strongly. And then yeah, basically you're there. You're at the finish line. You've got obviously two sides. Metric marathoners keep right generally. Marathoners generally keep left. You go into that finishing tent, get all your goodies, your medal, your finisher's bag, and then hopefully your family will all be there waiting for you on the riverside. I believe this year there's an even better finishing village. It's always been pretty good with live music and a few bits to grab, toilets, and obviously you get your finisher's bag and places to sit on the riverside. But I believe this year it's even more improved and more things to do. We will see. But yeah, so that's a quick course preview. I put a few snippets over the top as I was talking to give you a bit of a visual representation of what happened in the last few years when I've been running it. But yeah, it's a great course, dead interesting. It's like I say, I would class it as a challenging course. Like I said, there's good bits, quiet bits. There's like I said, uphills and downhills. It's not a pancake flat course, but I think if you can run a marathon at Chester, you can run a marathon almost anywhere. It's like I said, it's a real test in terms of fitness, endurance, and obviously that willpower, especially towards the end when the hills kick in. Easy to kind of give up and just cruise in. If you can get past them hills and I say power up and finish strong, then you'll be even more satisfied at the finish line. And again, there's nothing quite like a marathon finish line for satisfaction of a hard effort well done. So yeah, good luck to everyone that's running. If you see me down there on the day, I'll be down there milling around. Hopefully I'll be in the PACER's tent to start with, but I will try and get out and mill around with all the crowds and get take in all the pre-race excitement and nerves. But yeah, if you see me, feel free to grab me, say hello. Hopefully some of the videos are a bit of use. If you're running with me on the day, again, come over, introduce yourself. Be nice to meet a lot of people in terms of who, especially if it's your first marathon or your first time at Chester. I always like hearing the stories about people's firsts. Again, not often do you get to do a first, so embrace it, enjoy it. But regardless of what time you're running, whether it's your first marathon or your 100th marathon, again, a marathon's a marathon. It is to be respected, and it is a massive achievement to finish. So yeah, good luck with all your efforts on the day. Hopefully your training's gone well. So come what may on the day, just enjoy the day itself. Get yourself to that finish line, get that medal, and then you can go home proud with your efforts. But yeah, thanks as always for watching. I'm really excited now myself, ready for race day itself. I'm looking forward to getting down there and getting this marathon done. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching my vlogs. Happy running, and I'll see you on the start line.